Greetings and welcome to Flavourful Eats. Today it's really flavorful with Brenda Gowing. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sumanabad, Mike Gowing, and Claude. So you know when Claude's around what it is?
Wine.
We have wine.
We have wine.
So you want to do us a favor and pass on the wine?
Here, I'll take these two, you take those two, and we will hand this to you.
Yes, thank you.
Over there.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
hand this to you.
Yeah, I can just take that. Yeah.
And that'll be yours, and this will be mine. That was well scripted.
And we have a fantastic show, a real fusion,
Yeah, fusion.
gluten-free, working with cheese. So Brenda is doing a crustless pizza.
A cauliflower crusted pizza.
And Sumana is doing a paneer.
Yeah,
Mutter
a paneer dish.
So paneer is Indian cheese, and you're doing a variety of cheese.
I'm doing a variety.
To that we toast.
To cheese.
Cheers.
To cheese in any form.
Cheese and wine always goes well, right? So
Right.
Brenda is going to
Yes.
start with the pizza. You can take a sip.
So, there are a couple of tricks with cauliflower crust pizza. So, you kind of have to get different things moving at the same time. So what I'd like to do is start with the sauce, because the sauce takes about 2 hours to boil
Takes
down.
a long time.
You can take a shortcut and use a good organic pizza sauce, but why do that? Why
Yes.
do that? You know, it's a rainy day. You want to get things done. So, the secret to this sauce too is that we minimize sugar. Don't want a lot of sugar in our cooking, so I wear this. And why am I wearing this?
To cut up the onions.
To cut, you may want to step back. So the yellow onions are, they have a more potent kind of smell to them. I think they're more bitter smelling, and they make me cry more. So I have to do unusual things. Now you don't need a lot of the onion. You just need enough to basically coat the bottom of the pan. And I'm picky. I don't like to have the hard outside. Some people are more comfortable with that. I just like to go a little deep into the onion. You see how that's kind of green there? That can be tough. I don't want tough.
No, you
I
don't
want soft. So I'm going to go just a little bit deeper until I get to an easy peel.
okay.
I'm getting rid in this handy dandy trash pan of the things I don't need. Gone, gone, gone. And I'm going to do about 3 of these.
So one of the tips I learned is that you do the root end last. The root end is what causes more tears.
Oh, I
Yes,
didn't know
so,
about that one.
Yeah, you find people who have it
I
in
just
tap.
wear my glasses.
Yeah,
They're
so that's
different. They're different tricks. I just find these really comfortable, so that's my way. I'm using this kind of handy dandy board too, so I can get things swept aside. And the way to work with this onion too is you're not looking for chunks. This is actually going to turn into something that sweetens your sauce. So I'm cutting it up just so that it'll break up in the pan nicely. And so about 2 of those.
Shall I
and-
put your stove on in the meantime?
Yeah, that would be great. And as I said, this is like a 2-hour thing. This is not a rushy thing, and that's why we have wine. You just need to relax.
Yes, you just cool.
And
I
that's-
did the right thing, eh?
That's the other thing about
Thank you,
all
Claude, for
this.
You are
bringing some
welcome.
along.
The other thing about all of this is that I like this cauliflower pizza because it kind of teaches me that nothing can be rushed, and you have to be patient if you want it to be good.
Wow.
This
I
is-
wish I could say that in the kitchen.
This is mindful cooking.
This is mindful cooking. That's exactly
and
right.
flavorful eats.
Yes, definitely.
So, the way I start out with this, and I'm just gonna whoosh, put this out and put this in the bottom of the pan. And then I take off my glasses and I can see you again more clearly. Wonderful. Now, I do a little bit of garlic oil in this. Sometimes I have chopped oil. I'm using just a little bit of garlic oil to flavor there.
Oh, that's nice. Instead
So-
of garlic.
instead of garlic. And I'm going to get myself a clean spoon, and I'm just kind of letting that, look, there's a little brown piece in there.
You're
You
letting
take that
it to
out.
sweat a little bit.
I just, yeah. And I'm not used to cooking on this kind of a top. This is an eyeball thing, but you can hear, whoa, smell that thing. It's really
Yes, you can
coming out.
smell it, yes.
You really can smell it. It's going to make my eyes tear.
I can
that
toss
sometimes
that
happen.
around for you.
Thank you very much. Now, while that's browning, this usually takes about 20 minutes to brown. We're not going to do that. We're going to do
So I
magic on
normally
television.
put salt in there to
I
get
don't
the
do that
onion,
yet. No, no, no.
onion going faster.
Nope.
That is
Nope.
what I'm gonna do.
Nope. But this is mindful relax.
Yes.
And you're really looking for it to brown, to get a nice golden brown color. This is kind of yellow, not quite right.
So you want it to really caramelize.
You want it to get nice and caramelized.
And that's what brings the sweetness to your sauce.
Exactly, exactly. However, you can also cheat with honey, which we'll do a little later. So I like to, this is crushed tomatoes, and my, this has basil already in it. Just plop it right in. Isn't that exciting? The can's already cleaned. Don't worry about that. I'm just stirring for me.
So you want to recycle them, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then I just put plain ones in. Just plains. Now the other thing I might do is use a fire roasted tomato.
Oh, those are really
Just
good.
to add a depth. It really depends on your mood. Do you want to have a bright sauce, or do you want to have a smoky kind of feel? Now I have some fresh basil here. It's already been rinsed. We don't want to poison our guests with dirty basil. And I put just a little bit in for color, a little
And the smell. I
texture.
mean, I could smell that.
That
smell.
helps with the onion
Yes,
too.
Yes.
And the last little spill, this again deepens the flavor, I find. You're going to put in just a little bit of tomato paste. And sometimes, because this again is an eyeball thing, nothing is perfect on this recipe. This is all championship cooking in that you just have to kind of know. But anybody can do it because you can't hurt 3 cans in a pan, really.
So you actually have one large can of tomato, two
So-
smaller ones, and then a paste.
Absolutely.
I know you say tomato, I say tomato.
I said yes, but yours tomato sounds pretty. Now, here's the other thing. When something is cooking a very long time, don't be afraid of spices. Would you agree? Now,
Oh, yes.
so, I put a variety in. This, of course, is oregano, and most people measure it. I am not a measurer. I am a by sight. So that's about
That is measurement, dear.
Yeah.
People use that half a teaspoon, one
half a
teaspoon.
teaspoon,
Yes.
1 teaspoon, something like that.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I like to put some thyme in. You know that
And if you're doing this in summer, everything fresh. right?
everything is fresh. But I like to
Including
do a
tomatoes.
good organic spice when I can. Now here's the secret ingredient, and it's so secret the name came off the bottle. But it's tarragon, and tarragon
that.
adds a nice.
Different depth.
It
Yes.
just gives a nice
Nice.
little
Oh, wow.
richness to the sauce, which I like, and I'm not shy. Okay, people who know me in the world know I'm not shy, so that's, here's the tarragon. And then, of course,
Pepper.
pepper,
Pepper.
and I like to ground it in. This is a fancy dancy thing here, and I can flip it and do
Salt.
salt, la 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 la, and I might want some sea salt in there. Now that's a cheat. Now, like I said, I don't want anyone to feel bad. I don't want you to feel bad. You know, sometimes like, man, I just don't know what goes in to an Italian sauce. You can get Italian spices all mixed in. I'll pretend. That is delicious. And then I like to put a little sea salt
salt
in.
is always good.
But, you know, I think salt is something you should layer.
Oh,
And
yes.
the last thing I'm going to put in, this, like I said, the onions, when they're caramelized, add an amazing sweetness to the sauce. This is, you know, usually people are surprised by how sweet a tomato sauce can be. In terms of how much sugar, if you look at the back, you'll see
Oh,
a lot of
yes.
sugar.
Lots of sugar.
But you really don't need it. What I do is I drizzle some honey in, about a teaspoon. It's usually by sight, just enough to round the pan.
That's to just lessen the acidity.
To take the acidity away, exactly. And in the tradition of an Italian sauce, it's an Italian honey.
honey, I see
I
that.
also,
I see that.
yeah, did you? I also, and you probably know this because you're healthy and flavorful eats, is that if you use a local honey, that
Yes.
helps with
Your
allergies.
Yep.
So it's a sneaky way to go in. So that sauce is just gonna rest for a couple
Similarly.
of
Increase the
hours.
temperature? How
Now,
much?
now I have to interject at this point. I will tell you that when you wake up to this smell in the house,
Oh, yes.
you starve.
It's not fair, I
It's not
know.
fair,
It's
but it smells
divine.
awesome.
Now, through the magic of television, this is what it looks like after 2 hours.
All right, you
So
have
that
this
is
in
the finished
this
sauce.
is the finished sauce.
That is the finished sauce.
that's imagine.
It is
Got
boiled
it.
down. You're welcome to take a taste. You can see the seasonings on top, and that's what I'm going to use on top of the cauliflower pizza crust.
This looks really good. You can see that all the flavors have amalgamated and
If you want to, you can.
ah,
I'm not going to do that. This is actually for something else. But
Okay.
you could emulsify or clean up the sauce, smooth it out. But for our purposes today, a nice
That's
chunky
good.
sauce is
Okay.
good. All right,
so can I swap the pots around?
absolutely. You can do the pots, and I'm going to move to cauliflower next. So we'll get some of this out of the way.
Okay.
As the onions are caramelizing, sometimes it gets a little sticky at the bottom of the pan. That's actually a good thing.
Yes.
So I'll put in a little splash of wine. I like to put in a splash of cooking sherry or a nice sherry. The reason why I like sherry with onions is it brings out a nice richness and sweetness. So if you're caramelizing, you put a splash, about a quarter, even like a teaspoon of cooking sherry on it. Ooh, down it goes. It'll enhance the richness. You also can pour a little water in there, a little veggie broth, whatever
Yeah, it's
you
called
want to do.
deglazing.
Because that chunky good stuff
Yes.
adds richness.
Oh yes. Yep.
Now, what is this in front of me?
Riced cauliflower.
This is rice cauliflower. One has already been nuked, microwaved, and this one is about to go in to be microwaved. It's frozen, so we're going to heat that up. And it
So-
only takes about 3 minutes.
So for those who don't have a store close to them that can make riced cauliflower, you want to explain how it's done, or would you like me to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
rice cauliflower is, just to do a sidebar on it, you are finding more and more rice cauliflower
Yes,
in the grocery stores.
grocery stores. Yeah, but this goes throughout the world,
This goes throughout the world.
so everybody
rice
needs to know how to.
to do it. So different people have different methods, but basically you're taking the whole head of a cauliflower, you're steaming it to get it soft, and then you can food process it to get it tighter. Do you
Right.
have other things that you add into that?
Instead of food steaming it first, you can also just put it in the food processor, get it fine, and you can actually steam it over a pan too, if you prefer.
yep.
After it's riced.
Okay.
So anyway, but that's basically how it's done.
Yeah,
And
it's-
if somebody doesn't have the electronic gadget, just use the old-fashioned grater and grate it.
Right, exactly.
That's tedious.
And
but-
I said it was a patient day, but part of the reason why I am cheating with the preset one is this is where you spend a lot of time on the next step. So I am just putting my cauliflower rice into this orange bowl with a cheesecloth. Why am I doing that, they say. Mike says, Brenda, why are you doing
Brenda,
that?
why are you putting this riced cauliflower in the bowl with the cheesecloth?
Okay, so this
You mean Daddy's
seems,
rice? I'm
I
kinda
missed
sure.
my cue.
this is right, so I put it in
So you-
like this, and then I am just going to bat down.
You're basically removing the moisture.
I'm
from
removing the moisture.
from the
Now-
cauliflower.
This process to be complete, can take 10 or 15 minutes. You think that's done?
No, I think it needs to be dried a little more.
Right. So what I want to show you is, see how wet that cloth is? I'm just gonna.
Oh, you
I-
need the scissors.
I need the scissors.
You had a
Thank
reason
you.
for
Will you do
leaving
the
it.
honor?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is where you get, if you're not cooking alone, you can practice, hospital. Here's the bandages.
So where do you buy the cheesecloth?
The cheesecloth is more commonly available than you would think,
In
but you have to
supermarkets.
ask. It's
Okay.
in local supermarkets. It's usually in the cooking section, but it is difficult to find.
But if failing everything, Amazon always has it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily need to use a cheese toast, anything that will absorb.
Well, here's my dear friend, where I beg to differ.
Cheese
I
works
have-
pretty good. But
I have a story behind it, which is I once.
oh no, you
try-
can't use this one.
No.
No, you
I
cannot-
once.
when I meant I meant light ones.
Light ones. I once tried to do this step
Oh, dear. I understand why
right
you
here
pulled it before.
with a clean, new dish rag.
No, that one was.
And I washed it 5 times and it still smelled like cauliflower. So you
Ah.
want something that
No.
is disposable. Now, this is my 3rd time through.
Well,
I'm not-
I don't know, hon, that became disposable.
Yeah, really. But it was not a pretty picture. So you think I'm pretty well done on these 2 big ones, and look, I still have a fair
Moisture.
degree of moisture.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I didn't go through the ricing or a more start to finish one, because it does take, a little
long
time to get it dry. Why is the drying important? I'll show you that in a little step, but right now we're just going to finish the crust here.
So you basically do it 4 times over, 3 or 4 times over, until
6,
the
7, 8, 20,
depending on the
whatever
moisture.
it is. The most important thing is to get rid of the moisture. Now, the next step is how do you make things kind of gel together, right? So you taught me this trick. This is
Oh, you're talking about the binding agent.
the binding agent. So this is
You're going to use like a
The
half a
gum.
teaspoon of xanthan gum?
this is already measured out.
Oh, okay.
Usually you use an egg as a binding agent,
Right.
but because you're doing this in a vegetarian
I
style,
think-
not everyone will want eggs in the process.
That may need
So
more
this is
water.
another
Which one,
alternative. Xanthan gum.
But let me tell you about the other ingredients, and we can add that in a little later. So the next thing I add in
Do you
is,
want a little more? Is that okay?
it can wait. I'm going to add
Okay.
some water
Okay.
to make it
A
appropriate
tablespoon?
first. Yeah, let's put another tablespoon in. But what I'm doing here is adding some Parmesan cheese, shredded, of course. That's a nice way to get things bounded.
Binding as well.
And the other thing that's happening here is I'm not putting in a ton of cheese. I'm not putting in a ton of heavy things. This is mostly vegetable. So it's a lower calorie kind of
Instead of the carbs from the...
instead of the carbs from the bread, instead of a lot of things you don't need. The other thing I like to do is to re-season. Usually in a crust like this, I will add rosemary, just kind of like think of a focaccia bread. But this way, you're just adding a depth of flavor. Part of what you want to do when you're changing textures on people and you're not having your traditional bread chewiness to things, you want to surprise people with other things. Are you feeling this is? Are we good?
There's a team.
Okay. Looks good. Up it goes.
Okay, I think it will work with your...
Look at that. See,
Well,
so
you look at the
already
team.
it looks
Let's
much
face it.
more eggy.
Eggy, yeah, that's
Okay, so I'm just going to do it like that. 'cause-
So for those that may be allergic to xanthan gum, you can do the same thing with flax, ground flax seed.
Or
Have you
chia.
tried?
Or
Or
chia.
chia?
chia
Or
seeds,
chia.
yeah, that's right.
So the last thing I do is using a pizza stone and parchment. This is the other tricky part with the cauliflower crust. And at this point you're going, why the heck am I even bothering to do this cauliflower crust? Well, you will find out when it's done. Because there are a lot of kind of mini steps to it. But I just took out the cauliflower from the bowl and I'm just patting it down. I like using a pizza stone because it can help me make it like a pizza.
Round.
And round, I can dig in a little bit. And this still, remember we patted it down quite a bit and it still has some moisture to it. The thing about cooking it on the pizza stone and patting it down like this is the trick. A lot of times people rush, right? So what they're doing is saying, okay, it's done. I'm going to put the sauce on. I'm going to put the cheese on. Yum. No. What we need to do is cook the crust first so it gets nice and firm. And that usually takes 35 to 40 minutes. But say it out loud through the magic of television.
Through the magic of television.
Television again.
Oh,
These got burnt. Uh-oh.
okay.
Well, through the magic of television, we have burnt ones, but they're crisp.
Oh, this is if you like to have your,
But you can still see this one, believe it or not, this one, which looks terrible, but it's going to be good with the sauce and stuff, was the one I dried out. This is the one I tapped, like eight times just to keep on that out. This one, even though it's been cooked a lot, is the one that I didn't tap out. And you can see it broke apart. It's still wobbly. It's not crisp. So even the evidence shows when it's been overcooked that if you go through that batting stage, you really do get something that's more crust-like. And that's what you top with your sauce and your cheese. So I'm almost afraid to top this, but let's give it a go. Who knows?
Oh dear. All right, while you're getting a go with that, is it okay if I do my paneer? 'Cause I didn't
absolutely.
expect this
I
to
will
be
fin-
boiling already.
Yeah.
So we have two
It's very
quarts.
exciting here. It's too hot to handle. We're all having so much.
So much of fun, right?
So we have paneer, we have 2 quarts of milk here, whole milk. Whole milk is better. And depending on the type of milk, we actually have grass-fed milk. Depending on the type of milk you have, you need vinegar. This particular amount will just take about 2 tablespoons, but it can actually take more depending on the type of milk you have on hand. So to this pan, I added 2 quarts of milk, a little bit of salt. It came to a boil like you saw, so now I'm putting it off. And to that, I'm adding vinegar, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, very, very slowly to see the curds and whey separates. Until that's done, the paneer is not going to be ready.
There's certainly some kind of like chemical reaction that's going on.
Yes,
That's going to happen. I
the
guess.
acid is going to get the milk to coagulate. Oh, it
Do you
is.
need
It's
anything to get
starting.
It started?
It's there in a crate right there. Yes, it's starting to coagulate. Yes, see? Can you see? The curds and whey are separating.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes. Now it's time to strain it. The way we do that is with a cheesecloth. But today I'm not using a cheesecloth, I'm using a flour sack. Again, with the magic of TV, I've got one done. So we'll be turning that over. So what I'm using is a colander, which is normally like this. You can just place this, put the cheesecloth over that and place that into a container. But this is what I have, and I like using this one. It is a colander that goes inside another bowl, so that will catch the whey. And I'm ready with that. But this is the one that's done. So this is
Brenda.
what it
All
looks when it's done.
So that's all the curds.
This is the curds. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you do with the whey?
There's the
I know
whey.
you don't
Yeah,
waste
let
it.
me-
I don't waste the whey. The whey is actually very, very tasty. And that's
Ah.
what I do the toast with. So we don't leave this out very long because it forms a crust. It's already did because of the heat from the...
The
so
stone.
Simona, if you want to please help me cut that ready for that. And I'll just rinse this and we'll use it again.
So with that baking, that's all there is left, then? That's all there is left?
Yeah, good job, Sumana.
Oh my God.
Don't leave any fingers in there.
Oh my. Hopefully not.
That ruins it.
I'll leave Simona to do that first.
And for all you nursery rhyme fans, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. When along came a spider, but we don't need that.
This is how we separate the curds and whey. Just pour it in there. And can you see that the whey is already there and there's the curds.
It's like
Wow.
making cheese.
That's what it is.
Well,
It's
that's, yeah,
cheese.
that's how they make cheese.
And that's what that is. Now that had a little bit more vinegar, so it's a little bit more hard. and this will harden as it stands too.
So recap, what's the recap?
We put 2 quarts of milk.
Whole milk.
Whole
Whole
milk.
milk.
This was grass-fed milk. Depending on the type of milk, its amount of vinegar or some acid. You could use lemon juice too, but I used vinegar.
The vinegar and
What kind of vinegar?
makes the
I used the regular
separate.
white vinegar.
White
It
vinegar.
makes it emulsify.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I, once it came to a boil, that's when I added the vinegar very slowly.
Uh-huh.
And then it separated the curds and the whey.
And
And
then,
this could be done with cheesecloth as well.
Yes, this
Oh,
is
it's a
it's
cheesecloth.
normally cheesecloth, but
Yeah.
today it's
oh my.
They also call it muslin cloth.
muslin
right?
cloth.
Muslin
Muslin
cloth.
cloth, yes. There's also, because it's porous. So this is what I was saying. If something is porous, you can use it,
So you
right?
can use it.
Right. So in the end, well, it is very hot. So Simona, can I trouble you to put that away in that pot for me?
In this pot, back in the pot,
Yes.
Okay.
If you can put that way into this pot.
into this pot.
Yes, please. Thank you. That's drinkable now. Can have a nice warm drink if you prefer.
And that's what that is? That
Yeah,
right there?
that's what
Yeah.
that is.
Now, is that just, are you drinking just straight whey, or
Yes.
or do you add anything
Nothing,
to
because it's already got the vinegar and salt.
it? Okay, I see.
So it's actually very tasty. And then you just, at home, run this under cold water, so it's cool for you to touch.
Oh.
So I tie it that way. And again, to rush the process, I put weights over.
Weights.
Yes, but generally, what the original way of doing it, they will tie it like this and put it on the tap, so the thing
Oh.
drips overnight,
Oh.
and the next morning it's ready for use.
Oh.
You squeeze that, you place that,
And place that on.
and let's place this on top.
And how long does it take?
In 2 hours, this will be ready.
Right, we can have sauce and
Do it at the same time,
It
you'll be
takes
done
about
at the
the
same
same
time.
time.
Yes.
that's
So,
right.
Yes.
so when you're planning a meal, that's how you do
Right,
it. so.
that's how you do it. So that's a lot, that is
This
not
is
hard
this
to
is
make.
no, not at all. This is slightly harder because I've squeezed it really a lot.
Does everyone want to taste a little?
So when you
Yes, of
squeeze it
course.
less, then you get softest cheese.
Oh,
This one here is
okay.
going to be soft because I didn't really.
You do it as
yeah.
well.
All right, we're getting onto the Mutter Paneer. The
Yeah, that's so what we'll be doing now is we're going to be making a dish out of paneer. So it's called Mutter Paneer, and mutter is nothing but peas. So
direct
it's a peas-
translation from Mutter is peas.
Peas, yeah. So mutter is in Hindi, and so it's called peas in English. So it's peas and paneer curry.
Paneer again is cheese. It's
Yeah.
we just did that a
Yeah.
couple minutes ago.
That's right. Okay, so now so we're going to heat a pot. We're going to add a little bit of maybe about 3 teaspoons of olive oil, and to that we're going to add a little bit of
Any high resistant heat.
what do we
oil.
call this? I think this is fenugreek.
No, this is cumin.
cumin
Cumin
seeds.
seeds or jeera.
And then this is called kasuri methi.
And it's nothing but dried fenugreek leaves.
Yeah, so the way we work this is you sort of take a little in your hand and then sort of just do this.
So crushing it brings out the flavor and
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we need a little bit more oil. A little bit
I
more.
think we're good to go.
Yeah. Okay, so
Flavor to taste.
that's right.
Can you smell this kasturi methi? Can you
Yes.
just get that
Yeah.
smell? This fenugreek. You know, I don't know whether you've ever cooked with fenugreek herbs.
No, no.
Oh,
Say the name again.
Fenugreek,
Fenugreek.
F-E-N-U-G-R-E-E-K is the English name.
Yeah.
And we generally call it methi.
Yeah.
Yeah, methi, M-E-T-H-I.
Okay, first
Methi.
Yeah. So that she's got that's blooming. I can actually smell
Yeah,
it.
you
so
can
it's-
smell it now. It smells good, yeah.
No, that's hers, that's the
All
cauliflower.
right, I think we'll just wait.
She's doing
Wait a
the
little,
thing
right?
there.
Yeah. So now the complete ingredients is cumin seeds or jeera, dried methi herbs, which is
The kasuri methi?
kasuri methi.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you'll be adding. You're going to point out that you have garlic. I
Yeah.
see garlic there.
Yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add the onions. Okay, so I'm gonna, and this is again pre-chopped.
I'm glad those
Onions.
are the onions. If that was garlic,
Oh,
we'd be all done.
that's going to be a lot. Okay, so we
so-
have the onions, we have the garlic.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
you
maybe
do.
I'm not going to put so much. Just put, and then I'm going to put some ginger.
Ah.
To brighten it.
All right, and we're going to, again, we have to wait for the onions to become like sort of caramelized, light brown in color. So while,
Translucent.
yeah, translucent. So while that's happening, I think Hamsha is going to go ahead and start working on the cassava roti.
All right, so while the onion is frying, as Sumana said, I am making a leavened bread to go with that particular curry. So this is actually Brenda's favorite, hence we're doing it alongside
So
her.
excited. Yeah.
So please feel free to ask questions as we go.
Okay.
And we're actually keeping up with the theme and being gluten-free. Again, Brenda prefers to be gluten-free. So as you can see, I'm actually making use of the whey. So it's boiling, so I'm going to put that off. And that's ready for me to use. I am using, in order to be gluten-free and this is also grain-free, I'm using cassava flour. Cassava, if all of you remembered, we did a whole show with Sumana not so long ago. So you can get to know more about cassava if you just tune into YouTube. So I'm actually using cassava flour, and I took out 3/4 cup. I know it's odd, but I'm just, for interest of time, just doing a small quantity.
Okay.
So I'm using the cassava flour, just 3/4 cup of it. It actually has protein in it, even though it has quite a bit of carbs, good carbs.
And what is a cassava?
Cassava is a root. So to that I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a tad bit of avocado oil. You could use whatever oil you'd want to, but I chose to use avocado oil, and it's like a tablespoon or two, and just mix that in there.
Cassava
to the-
yucca.
Yucca, yes.
Yucca, that's right.
And
Yucca
not,
root.
not to be confused with yucca, Y-U-C-C-A. This is just Y-U-C-A.
Y-U-C-A, yucca root. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought they were the same spelling. I don't know. I haven't checked. But it's also manioc, I think, in France.
Oh, manioc, yep.
Yes, I think France, that's what it's called, right? Manioc?
Oh, manioc, yeah.
Yes, yes, that's what it is.
Oh,
It's
that's
the
what it
flour
is.
from that.
From manioc,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I forgot we have a French expert right here.
Yeah, that in Africa also.
Yes, a lot in Africa too, but I think in France it's,
Yes, yes,
my grandmother brought that to my notice about it
Mm.
being, yes. And so, like I said, I'm in whey. I normally just figure out how much by eye, but now I'm just going to be using a measurement only because we want camera. So you don't want to burn your fingers, so I use a knife. You could use a fork. My mother always used a fork to just bind that in a little bit.
You're making essentially a bread dough.
Yes, I'm making a leavened bread.
Yeah.
Because cassava is a little bit of fibrous, right? So it'll
Yeah.
take a little bit more water than regular. And you can see it's a soft dough, but it's not sticking.
Right.
Yeah, actually I could do with a little bit more
Does
water.
it have a flavor or is it a bready flavor?
You want to smell it? And for me, I can get.
Oh, that smells just like bread.
So for me, I
Yeah.
taste the smell.
Yeah, no, that smells just
And I
like
can
a
actually smell
traditional
when
bread.
the salt is just right also by just
Right,
tasting
right.
it, yeah. The thing is, if you put too much, then you're going to get a very gooey dough. You don't want a gooey dough. So it's going by experiment, hence I'm adding water.
It's easy to add, but not as hard, and not as easy to
Just-
subtract.
Yes. So Brenda, would you like to feel this?
Yes.
If you want to, you can divide that into six.
Six?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is really amazing.
What you going to do with that?
It's like warm Play-Doh.
Gonna-
Yes.
gonna
Yeah.
divide it
Yeah,
up
that's right.
Into six
Six?
balls, I
Six
guess.
portions, yeah, 6 balls.
Well, next thing is I need to use a mixer.
Okay.
Just use this.
Since this is on television and we don't have smell-o-vision, I have to tell you, this smells excellent.
Oh,
And you
it's
just
just
think
nothing
you
but
liked?
onions. You know?
Hey, see? I'm going to take a quick look at the, we don't want two disasters in one show. Ooh. Ooh, that's looking good.
So you are done there? Or you said you
Yeah,
wanted
the
to put
next
in
thing is I need to use a mixer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 tomatoes. So 3 tomatoes have already been chopped. So I'm going to add that to the blender. Okay, so that's that. And I'm also going to add a few green chilies, like a couple of green chilies.
In what?
Green chilies.
Oh, green chili.
Green chili, yeah. And let me add a little bit of water.
Oh, again, we could have used the way.
So,
All right, so I'm going to work the blender now.
Yes. Okay, while Sumana is blending, I can start rolling.
All right, so that's done. Okay, so this is my the blended tomato. It looks like the onions are pretty much done now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now add the tomato puree. Oops,
Sorry.
sorry about that.
Things are very clunky over there today. I lost my blender thing and you lost your blender.
Yeah, into the curry, you know.
Not a good day for
It's
blenders.
really not a good day at all.
The
for
blenders
blenders.
just seem to be falling apart, it
Yes.
looks like. And now I'm going to start adding the spices. So there's a little bit of turmeric powder. So I'm going to add that.
Which is very good for you.
And that's again very
Yes,
good
you
for
have
you.
all, and because she used a bit of fat and a bit of pepper, you got your full the curcumin will be well
Okay.
absorbed by your body.
Now this is a little bit of coriander powder. So I'm adding that.
I just learned that coriander powder
Coriander
is
powder.
the most toxic. You don't get organic. So organic way
Really?
is the way to go for coriander powder.
And I'm adding a little bit of chili powder. Okay,
So this is plain pure chili powder.
yeah, and a little bit of salt. So that's
It's barely nothing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's mild. You won't even know what's in there.
so. Hamsha, do you want to go ahead? This needs to cook a little.
Okay, so while that's cooking, can you help me cook this?
The
the-
thing, yeah,
yes.
sure.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to check the cauliflower.
Please
crust.
do. So Sumana will show you how we cook the roti, which we've done in many shows anyway, so everybody's probably familiar with that. So I'm going to put a little bit of flour on there. I don't really need it, but I think I got it too dry. Because see, this was nice and soft, and it's still holding it.
Oh, that's how you okay. you want-
I don't need to do it. I'm doing it like this because the rolling pin is not exactly a gluten-free rolling pin, and because we're trying to do a gluten-free thing, so I'm placing paper over.
Paper over.
I don't generally place a paper over.
Back at the oven,
Meanwhile, back at the oven,
So this is how it's rolled,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's nice and round. So Sumana will be fixing that, and
Oh, sorry.
Brenda has got her pizza out. Okay, Sumana, I think this is hot enough for you.
Hot enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brenda, are you ready to top? Or?
oh sure.
In the meantime, you can have a look at this. When this bubbles a little bit, I don't think we got it high enough.
now, you didn't put any oil or butter or anything
At the
in
moment,
pan.
there's nothing in there.
Okay.
It's supposed to bubble a little bit, and then you turn it around. And at this stage, we put a little bit of ghee if you'd like.
And ghee for all of the people who are not
Suma-
Indian.
Sumana likes that. It's clarified butter.
Clarified butter,
So
yeah.
Sumana likes doing that, and I just do this. But traditionally, it's done with a cloth or very many different ways. Our ancestors used to
Smells so
do this
good.
way. When the bubbles come about, that's when it's actually supposed to be turned. And we normally have a griddle. It's flat.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a challenge to
Little
do
tricky.
it.
It's
Yeah.
pioneer.
Look at that.
Pioneer
Wow.
baking.
That's skill.
Shall I set up over here while you're?
No, you can set up here, Brenda.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
still cooking, so it's good. Just do it.
Quickie. This is
The
quick.
heat is normally much higher than that. Our pot is sizzling with the paneer sauce.
So it's pretty. So the paneer curry is pretty much ready.
It's reduced
And,
a little bit in the
Quantity.
Quantity.
Yeah, that's right. So I may not need this entire. Let's just see. And let me. So now we just need to add the paneer and the.
So you can see, if you look at recipes online, you probably find that people fry the paneer first. There's no need for that.
Oh, yeah.
This is already protein, it's coagulated. I don't think we need to coagulate it anymore. So we have a very high protein dish today.
Yeah.
And we add the peas.
peas is another very high protein, and in the green form, apparently it's an anti-inflammatory too, so which is pretty good. See, that looks so colorful and pretty.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why they added the peas, was for color and
the
texture.
color and yeah, that's right.
You know, you could add just about anything. It also brings down, paneer can be quite heavy, not heavy, rich. So this cuts the richness of that dish too.
Just beautiful.
So this is it, this is ready now.
I'm very excited.
See, now it's nice and hot. So that's done.
Gorgeous. So, meanwhile, back in Italy, cauliflower pizza. So, you can see what's happened with the crust, with all of that work. You see how it is golden, has a nice texture to it here. And I also did one pan. This will be a thinner pizza. So the next thing I do is I take a bit of the homemade sauce that we simmered down.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about the homemade sauce is this is just like a go-to. So once you've made it, I'm not going to use this whole pot of sauce, but I've got sauce that's fresh that I can use in different dishes throughout the week.
Oh, you can do pasta, you can do
Do anything. So I like to have a variety of cheeses on my pizza. I don't like to just do one kind.
That's what you want, huh?
So this is just a cheddar, and then I also have traditional mozzarella. And then the last thing I add on is you can put on veggies that you like. I tend, because the pizza is softer, I like to put on things that are firmer. It's just a balance. But you could put on really anything you like. I'm going to put on some mushrooms in between, just for some fun. And it's getting very exciting next to me. This is an exciting show. And then I like to top the whole thing off with a little Parmesan. And notice that I'm not like pounding it with a lot of cheese. I'm really not pounding this at all. I'm just setting it up. Now I have 2 of these going. And once you've got it pre-made here, it goes in the oven for about 10 minutes until the cheese melts. So the critical thing, again, is you want your first step to cook the crust. And here's a square version of the crust. This one,
That's so pretty. The other one you put in was so fabulous.
this one you see here, it's a nice thin crust, kind of Neapolitan style. And once again, I'm going to do some of the sauce, square it out. The other thing you may want to be mindful of is that some people find root vegetables or vegetables like broccoli or cauliflower a little harder to digest.
Oh, yes.
So, and peppers can be hard to digest. So this one I'm going to just keep as a simple cheese. And again, I like to use a blended cheese. The more layers of flavor you have, the better. A little mozzarella.
Some song there, please,
Yep.
Brenda.
May I interrupt, Mrs. Gowing?
Certainly,
When you
Mr.
put
Gowing.
the pizza back in the oven to melt the cheese, what temperature did you do?
Yeah.
Everything is on 425.
Oh, that's easy to remember.
Yeah, almost all vegetables are roasted around 425, right?
85, yep.
So this is going in. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, I'm just glad this is the final garnishing that happens on top.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Okay,
smells so
so
beautiful.
I'm just going to take a little bit of cilantro and garnish it up on the top. And this curry is ready to go.
Wow.
And then the next focus is this bread here. As you can see, this is what is supposed to happen. It's supposed to really rise
Puff,
and puff up. I don't know
Yeah.
whether you can get that. I don't know whether you can see that it's puffed up. And that's ready. And you have the little speckles. It's all
Gorgeous.
So it's all yours now, Brenda.
Gorgeous.
So what are we doing with the brie now, Brenda?
So this is the baked brie. This is, my sister Barbara is really the expert on baked brie, but I am giving it a valiant try for the cheese show. It's also very scary to be cooking baked brie in front of a Frenchman named Claude, but I'm going to give it my best shot.
He's not saying anything at this time.
He's not saying anything. Now the simple thing with the baked brie, a lot of people puff it in a puff pastry. Since I can't do gluten, I miss that step. Now, you're supposed to score the top, but one trick, if you're unsteady with a knife, is you can use actually dental floss to cut through and cut in half.
That's true.
It makes a nice thin cut. And if I were doing something like a stacked brie, or if I wanted to have a baked brie, that's usually a nice way to do it because you have a nice thin line and you can fill your jams or jellies in the middle and then wrap it in the crust. It gives it a nice flavor. I'm doing something a little different on this one. I'm just going to do an over-the-top baked brie. Right now I'm scoring this. I'm scoring it like a pie, just little lines in here. And that's just to help the jams and juices melt down. I have this really fun little spreader knife that has kind of the serrating on the other side. You can use whatever you like. Then I am using here red pepper jelly. Mostly because Mike doesn't like hot brie or hot food, so I can use the hot pepper jelly on this because it's not going to hurt him.
I didn't even know that.
It's not his
I
thing.
never.
If the Frenchman is looking for tips here.
Yeah, that's what.
Really?
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
So it's just really, really simple. This is just a hot brie, but if you think about flavors and contrast, which is something all of us have been talking about today, it's the soft and the crispy, the sweet and the sour. So you've got the sweetness and softness of the brie with the heat of the red pepper jelly.
And let me tell you, the fenugreek herbs will give you a little bit of bitter. You need a little bit of bitter also to digest, right?
These are just candied pecans.
A pecan, yeah.
You can eat them right out of the bag like I am. And you can make a pretty little design. You want to be mindful of how you're going to cut the brie
Wow, that's a very thoughtful thing to think about.
because there's nothing, you want to have a path, but you don't want to make it look like it's too...
Like a wheel.
You don't want it to look like a wheel. Exactly, honey. You don't want to make it look like it's too thought. I mean, part of the charm of a simple baked brie and a simple appetizer or dessert like this is, part of it is for people like us. You want to be able to get in and out really quickly so you can join the party. This doesn't look like much now, but in our, ooh, this is looking pretty good here.
Oh, that looks good. You need
Well,
room.
don't sound so surprised.
I don't know. I'm not. Hey, you made it. I mean, you burned
I
the
burnt
first
it the
one and-
first time.
Yes.
I
Finish
know.
line, no.
So I'm gonna. So all you do is pop it in that same 425 oven. So
And for how long?
for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That'll be ready after we're ready with the pizza. So one thing to think about, or I think about on a day like today, is it's a warm day. Everything is 2 hours. Everything is 425 degrees. Everything simmers down. I don't know if you can see this, but here's the cauliflower pizza right here.
That
This is the
really
cheesy
looks
version.
good.
That is the cheesy version. I can even bubble it up some more.
I think that's perfect. You don't want to coagulate the cheese too much. Am I
No,
right?
no. But you
Right?
can smell, and you can see here, surprise, surprise, how it holds up.
Wow.
See, it's stiff. It's not all gooey. And it'll taste pretty good
Do
too
you
when
want
we
to put
plate
some
it
on a
up.
plate?
Oh, sure. I also want to point out here, and on the pizza stone, that you've got the contrasting color, the yellow of the cheese. The other thing is that the parchment paper is a must, must, must. It will cook into the stone, it'll cook into the pan, and as soft as this is right here, it would be even mushier. It'd be like trying to lift up a baked potato, the inside of a baked potato. So it's in parchment paper, and the squeezing really is essential to making it work. And the last thing I will show, because we're talking about different alternatives, is when I'm serving the brie, don't feel sad for people who are gluten-free.
A lot of good options.
A lot of good options. These crackers I think people will enjoy. And I am also cooking up a French loaf
Oh,
that's featured in this little bakery.
which little bakery is that?
This little bakery that's in Vermont
Oh,
that
all the
sells
way to
locally.
Vermont.
Yeah.
And not locally to Acton, Massachusetts, not to you out there in the world, but in Acton, it's absolutely available. Okay.
And it's called Against the Grain.
To do a commercial, it's called Against the Grain.
Well,
Very
because
nice.
if people want to find it, they
Yeah,
have to
that's
know
what
the
it's
name.
called,
the name
Against
of
the
it,
Grain.
So in Acton, where can you pick that up?
You can pick that up. I have found it at Donlands. I have found it at Stop and Shop.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yep, it's in the freezer section,
Oh,
and there's
okay.
a whole variety of things.
Oh, so I guess it's be in almost all supermarkets then.
Yeah, I highly recommend it
Just to go
for
back to
kind of a
Donald and
real
look at the new
authentic
things.
taste.
Okay, so the curry is done and is in a pot, and then we just put a little bit of cream this way in a pattern. And that's about it. So the curry is done.
Okay, we have our curry, we have our French bread.
And
I
we'll
guess
have
we're
brie in a
waiting for the
moment.
brie.
The brie will be out in a moment. So, and here's the cauliflower pizzas, portions. We've got a few of those going.
Uh-huh. Oh, you just slice them separately.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have our,
This is our gluten-free bread, and I'm going to bring a piece down to our Frenchman, just to make sure that it passes muster.
Oh, very good.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
You would never know.
No, you never know.
You would never know.
you don't have to be just kind, you can just be,
Yeah, no. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no.
Okay.
Because this is not you.
So here we are with the baked brie popping out of the oven. Now again, imagine yourself on a Sunday afternoon or a rainy day. You just want it to be casual. You've spent a couple of hours cooking your cauliflower pizza, and this is the baked brie. Now, what I did is I did mine with a pepper jam. If you want a sweeter flavor, you certainly could use a blueberry jam. You also could plate it with fruit, but this is going to be a little more savory.
oh, that you
And
just
there
want
you
to
go.
dig into it.
And there you go. So you see it has, we'll just kind of spoon it out. Or if you're really desperate, you can do something like that. And
That's really yummy.
it's good.
So so for today we could use this as a starter. That is a main course and that is a dessert because you've got the sweetishness in that. But I mean, all of them can be main course. All of them could be appetizers, whichever way you choose
It's
them.
just how you're feeling that day. And with the extra, we were talking with the extra red sauce, if people are feeling like they want bread and tomato sauce and cheese, there's plenty to do that as well.
Okay, and then Sumana is going to show us how she plates her.
Yeah, that's right. So we take a cassava roti. So we take one of these, put it on the plate, like a
Make it a little
tortilla
triangle.
kind of thing. And then we would take a little bit of the curry.
That's beautiful.
And you get to give Brenda to have the first taste right there.
Oh, I'm so lucky. So do I do it with the bread?
Yes, you do it with the bread.
And how do I do just
Like
Yeah,
you're dipping
just take
in
it
the
out
bread.
and dip it in that. Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
We have success.
This is So good. Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you.
thank you.
This all started with me
Thanks,
saying, I
everyone.
really need to know how you make this. And now, oh, it's so delicious.
So you're going to
Thank
have
you.
eating this every day, almost?
Am I going to have what?
She's going to be cooking this all the time for you?
I'll give it a try.
Thank you, darling. It's really good.
I believe it is.
All right.
So
I
would
can-
you
I
like
can-
to try on camera?
Well, I
Can
could,
you,
yeah.
Can you,
Was it too spicy?
Thank you. No.
Not for
Not for
him.
Claude.
Okay.
Mike's just has a very, very gentle.
that's it.
so yeah, this is the paneer which you really
Love.
wanted to make.
And you could do that with the same topping I got.
Yes, you can. You can slice them and put them on the pizza. You can make them in the curry like that.
Delicious.
And many people would have heard of the spinach and the paneer, so palak paneer. That's all, almost anything. And what are you saying about the cauliflower pizza,
Oh,
Sumana?
it's awesome. Very tasty.
Thank you.
Worth all the hard work.
You're very brave to eat it without a knife and fork. I'm impressed.
Uh-huh.
You have grace that I do not have.
Okay, so thank you all
Thank you,
so much.
Hamsha.
You haven't commented.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
Excellent.
Very,
Like
very
it.
good.
And you still have
I
dessert.
haven't tried the paneer yet.
So Claude, will you do something of this? You cook yourself for yourself?
Yeah, oh yeah, you have the recipe in my pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very-
All right. With that, let me
Oh,
let
yes.
you know that if you want any comments or
Try the
or thoughts,
I'm going to make some at home somehow, somewhere.
okay, you can write to flavorfuleats@gmail.com. We are available almost always on YouTube or ActonTV.org. And all of you enjoying your food from Flavorful Eats. Thank you, Sumana. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you, Hamsha. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Claude.
Thank you for the dinner.
Thank you for dinner.
Oh, you're more
the
than
wine.
welcome. Yes, thank you, Claude, for the wine. I believe you provided wine this evening.
Okay, you're welcome.
And Brenda did all the brie and the cauliflower, and Sumana the paneer. And we had milk from a very special biodiversity Miller's Farm, which if anybody gets a chance to go and shop there, please do, because they have very good organic grass-fed milk and anything. If you're a meat eater, apparently they do grass-fed animals too. So with that, and Flavourful Eats.
Thank you for the
it's spicy.
No, it's not.
Okay, well, all the recipes
It's all
you can.
relative.
Modify.
All right, it's relative. If it's a little bit too spicy for you, you can drink it with milk. So it will cut it down. I have
Or
yogurt.
whey.
With yogurt.
I have yogurt actually. Yes, you can drink the whey with it. The whey could have been used almost everywhere
Yes,
today.
yes.
It's
Well,
extra protein.
Because I'm trying to be more organic where you're using all the products. So.
Yeah, in the literal sense, organic, sure. Yes. Yes, and thank you again. Thank you for initiating this, because this is a totally different type of a show. We have two totally different types of food, with cheese being the...
With cheese.
So cheese
The
is...
common thing. The common.
cheese being the common thing. So again, from your host, Hamsha Naidu, thank you very much. Till we meet again. And do remember, you always can find us on YouTube now. Flavorful Eats. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye.